I put myself out there and I got burned, or I tried something new and I failed. And there's all these times where it's like God just comes back around full circle and he's like, nah, what you thought was failure was actually an opportunity for me to be faithful to you. What's up, everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Tug of More.
Guys, we're thrilled you're here.
That's right.
Just a conversation between two buddies.
Two friends.
Two amigos.
Yep. Two
compadres.
Two people who've known each other a long time.
Brothers from another mother except a sister.
That's right. Yes.
It's just a conversation about where we are and then where we eventually want to be. It's a conversation of growth and advancement.
The
a conversation,
tension, the tug to get there.
Of more.
That's right. Your hat looks good.
Oh,
I got distracted. That's why. Because I was like, oh, you've got the gray one.
I got the gray one.
The thing about merchandising is sometimes they run out. And so they didn't have any more navy, so we had to make some gray ones.
Yeah.
And I like the gray. It looks nice.
What do we need to say about all of our friends tomming around town?
They need to keep tomming around town.
We've given out a handful of hats already.
Here's a picture of Miss Debbie. When I gave her hat, she was so excited.
Oh, yeah.
She put it on right away, and then she put it on, wore it the rest of service.
Yeah.
So cute. Made me so happy. We gave them away to everyone that had earned one so far, and they were so happy. And then, if you see a couple of people that you're like, wait, they haven't announced those people yet. Well, what happened was when they came in, they immediately got put in the store.
Oof.
And a couple of people saw them and were like, wait, I want those, bought them instantly. And then I confiscated them. I was like, wait, this is not supposed to go here. And I took them and hid them in my office.
But you didn't take them from the people that bought them.
No, if they already bought them, then that's our bad. My bad.
Yeah, see, that's the difference between me and Whitney.
What?
I would have straight karate chopped those jokers and took the hat back.
No, it's not their fault.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that's the difference.
It's our fault.
I'm saying that's the difference.
Yes, it's our fault.
You know who's one of those offenders? Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler.
Our very own Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler.
I think Tyler knew. I think Tyler gamed the system. I think Tyler carried the boxes to the store and then immediately bought one.
I don't know. Whoops. Like that, maybe. But, you know, yeah, I think that because I know the excitement I would feel, I would not want to crush someone else's excitement about it.
That's
so
true.
that's why I was like, it's our bad.
So
you
guys,
can keep the hat. Christian Seth has a hat. He bought one like at 7 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's the best.
Yeah. So,
and he's tomming around town.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, you're supporters of the Tug of More, so much so that the minute you saw something new of us, you bought it. Okay. I can't argue with you.
Yeah, Christian Seth. Here he is.
He there's a video of him.
What's the video
you have
of
a picture?
him?
He did a commercial ad for us.
This is what I'm saying. The dude's already in.
It said, if you watch the Tug of More, here's what happens to you. You get strong. And then it was.
All right, here's the video. Here's the video.
What happens when you listen to Tug of More? Your problems get smashed.
All right, so guys, we're going to be giving away another hat next episode.
That's right.
So hit us up. Show us where you are tomming around town.
Notice how Tristan does not keep count of when we give away the hat. He's just like, I want to, so we're going to.
I want to do one every episode,
I
but
know.
then Whitney talked me off.
Well, they're $30.
These cost $30?
Yeah, well, maybe not our cost. That's how much we sell all the hats for, but I think we don't make money. I think they cost like $27.
Well, y'all better start tomming.
Every time we give away, we're saying that your advertisement is worth $27. That's good.
Zuckerberg would probably disagree greatly.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what he would say.
Who cares about Zuckerberg?
Yeah, who cares? I
Whitney,
don't even know him.
we got all kind of stuff going on.
We have a lot. We just got back from camp.
Wow.
We had to catch up on our rest, our emotional, mostly my physical exhaustion of like my muscles because I'm older and I slept in a bed that wasn't mine, and so I was tired and my body was tired.
The beds at camp, they're made of plastic.
Yeah.
Like the outside is made of plastic, so every time you move, it's like.
Yes. They're like bad. What is those called? Inflatables. What are the inflatable beds called? Air
like
mattresses.
Oh yeah, so
they're like bad air mattress, but trying to be a real mattress. But
camp was so good.
Camp was amazing.
This Sunday we're doing camp celebration.
If you don't come, well, this will be out after it has come. But still,
get into the time machine. Go back in time and come on Sunday.
Or go back and watch it online. It's going to be so good. Crying all the tears. Because all the stories and testimonies and baptisms, it's amazing.
Special announcement. Next year, we're going to take way more people to camp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Y'all got to be able to pass a background check, but we're going to take some more adults to camp.
So if you can't pass a background check, work on your background. So that way.
Get your background backed up.
But we're going to take a bunch of people so that we can take as many people and have a great camp. We're excited about it.
Do we have any camp stories we want to tell? Or just show up Sunday?
It rained a lot, which was fun.
Which is funny to say, but nowadays I feel like kids don't play in the rain.
No.
I used to just,
Oh.
I remember when I was little, did your parents ever, when it was raining, they'd send you outside with a bar of soap and some shampoo?
Oh, yeah, we did that to be funny. I mean, not like for real, but
My
like
mom
to be
would be
funny.
like, it's raining, and would just get some Perks Plus and squirt it on my
Squirt
head
on
and
your
stand
head?
me in the backyard.
That's really funny. I can remember being at a friend's house and they had like a ditch in front of their house.
Okay.
You know, like
Yeah, we're getting real Oklahoma already.
yeah, instead of like sidewalks like we have now, they had the ditch, and we would go stand in the ditch because the water would run, and my
Yeah,
mom would
that's
be
safe.
like, "Get out of the ditch! You're gonna drown!" And I'd be like, "No, we're so cool. We're not gonna drown."
I'm taking a bath in a ditch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a T-shirt
That-
with Whitney's face.
Oh yeah.
Waiting to happen. Next at the Moore store.
Next up, and so yeah, I don't know. Playing in the rain was fun. So it rained 2 of the 4 days, right?
Well, not the whole day, but
not the
like
whole
during
day.
during some of our game time.
Yeah, and so they got to play in the rain, and it was fun. The kids had fun.
It was great. Way to bless. Oh, I don't know if you can tell, we're in a different studio.
Oh, we didn't talk about this.
This is our first episode in a new studio. We've moved.
Look how much space we have.
I don't know if they can tell. They can't. It probably looks the exact same because we're in the same chairs and everything.
And we have not really decorated. We're gonna keep working on the renovations. We
Yeah.
used to say our temporary space. Hopefully, this is our permanent.
If
but we
anybody
don't
wants
know.
to invest in the Tug of More, our cameras are as old as my children.
way more than $27.
And we have no decorations. So would love for you to invest in the Tug of More.
That's right.
But we're in the new studio,
Yep.
and I love it. We have a little bit more space. It's not going to be hot.
I guess we could bring back the table. I don't like, but I like that you're just right
Oh,
there.
well, I have
and
an
I'm right
idea.
here.
Our very first episodes, here's the picture. We had this table custom made.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of a nerd. And so like I was super excited about having a table of like live edge with a river through it. And so this table made, and we used it for a while, but then we were like, let's just go to chairs.
Do you remember that we designed that table in a snowstorm?
Yes, we drove to the place in
drove
my
to that
four-wheel drive
place
truck.
in
Yeah.
the truck, and it was us and 2 of our team, and we were like in a snowstorm, and it was like, hey, but we got to get this table made.
Like, this
'cause it's
table,
important.
there's souls on the line.
Yes.
So we still have this table. We don't know what to do with. And I told Whit, what
It
if we
might be
just
cool to hang it on
put
the
it on the
wall.
wall?
Yeah.
Like, even
And
like.
then we could get like a sign that says Tug of More and put it in the middle. Genius.
You can't stop us, devil.
That's right. You can try, but you ain't gonna win.
So
Okay.
So we've got that coming. New studio. Camp was amazing. Today we had something really cool happen.
Yes, this was my favorite part.
Okay. More Church is meeting at 401 Southwest Plaza.
That's
this
right.
Is the building that
Arlington,
we are,
Texas,
that we are currently in.
76016.
This was a Gold's Gym.
Yep.
That then got turned into a church, but we're not the ones that turned it into a church.
No.
Somebody else.
We just got to renovate the church building that we acquired.
It looks massively different and functions different.
Yes.
But like the legal process of it becoming a church building, we didn't have to fight that battle.
Correct.
Because
And-
there's somebody else that fought it.
Yeah, and there was already decent bone structure to
Yes.
the renovations that we did.
And so when we got the building, I wanted to get a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah.
We wanted to get a little backstory of who was kind of the founding pastor
Yeah.
that fought to get this building. And
Because people don't give enough credit to that. Like, you don't understand how hard that actually is.
Yeah.
Unless you've had to do something like that. Like, if you've had to renovate a space, an office space, a building space, but like 50,000 square feet
Yeah.
of a space of a church, that's a lot. It's really hard. It's a lot of work, and to fight through it.
like if you've ever renovated a bathroom at your house, think about how stressful that was, and then multiply it by like 1,000.
Yeah.
And the budget by way bigger, and a bunch of people with opinions, and a city trying to stop you.
And the people who have the opinions are the ones who gave to it. It's not just your money from your personal bank
Right.
account that if you screw it up, then it's just on you. Oh, wait, it's all these other people's
And
money
so
too.
I had pieces of the story of like who the pastor was and how it went down and what the details
Yeah.
were. And so I just kind of felt pretty strong that I needed to reach out to that founding pastor who is no longer the pastor of that church.
Right.
I just knew that the
Yeah, because
ending
who
there
we
didn't
bought
go
it from
great.
is not who. Yeah, who we bought it from is not who it was.
Yeah. And so I'd called and reached out a couple months ago
Mm-hmm.
and just extended the olive branch, like, hey man, here's who I am. If you ever want to come see the building,
Right.
you know, would love to have you, but it never really panned out.
Well, like the guy rescheduled due to scheduling things, and then just then life.
Then life.
We're just busy.
So today,
People
Whit and I
busy.
were having a lunch meeting.
Yes.
And a dude walked up to us, Pastor Mark,
Yep.
introduced himself. Hey, here's who I am. And I was thrilled to meet him.
Yes.
And so we
So
invited
cool.
him and a friend that he was out at lunch with. And they just came and got to tour the building. And man, it was great.
Church world, we say this phrase:
Okay.
called Divine Appointments.
Divine appointments. That
What
could be an
these-
episode. I got a bunch of divine appointment stories.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like where God, or you could just call them like God moments, like moments where you're like, huh, pretty sure there definitely must be a God because he definitely orchestrated that little interaction, that conversation. Like the fact that Arlington, Texas, which is where the Texas Rangers play baseball and the Dallas Cowboys play football, it's a giant city. And the fact that the four of us ended up in the same restaurant at the same moment, like, is super
When our
unique.
schedule allowed for us to take an hour and a half.
Yeah, because out of the like conversation quickly just went, let's go right now. Come
Yeah.
see the building. Come tour it. Let's go. And like we weren't rushing to something else. And like
Yeah.
poor Julia had to push an hour back of recording. But other than that, we were able to like make it work. And like, yeah, it was definitely a moment that felt like God ordained it.
Yeah.
God made it happen.
You know, and maybe this is what we should talk about, but God loves to redeem things.
He does.
He likes to redeem,
That's what I was thinking we should talk.
he wants to redeem dark moments and
Yeah.
dark things.
Well, we say
and
that
so for
he's-
Pastor Mark,
Yeah.
he put his blood, sweat, and tears into turning this from a gym into a church. And then shortly after, because of kind of church politics,
Yep.
was released from being the pastor.
Yep.
This thing that he had started and birthed and through no like moral failure.
Right. No moral failure. No like
Just
stealing money. Nothing
right.
crazy. Nothing bad. Just literal life happened to him. And
Yeah.
like he's walking through all of the seasons trying to heal and then, yeah, the politics of life of one influential or somebody that did this. And it's just, it's cool because our God is always proving to be who he says that he is.
Yeah. And so we were able to give him the tour and walk through the auditorium and the lobby, and we got to give like a really heartfelt thank you.
Absolutely.
Tell him like, thank you, man. We're able to stand on your shoulders because you did that work then. We're able to reap the benefits of it now. You know, the Bible says that you'll live in houses you didn't build.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, we're living in a house
That we
that we didn't have to build. Now we built it, like the culture and the people.
Right.
But this
But
building,
the actual building, we didn't have to build.
the ease of renovation in comparison to like ground up building.
In comparison to going before city council to get our
I mean, we had to do that
land-
too.
We did that
Just-
too. But
we didn't get
did-
anything from it yet.
But I'm saying like the ease of that versus that even, and that wasn't even breaking ground. That
Yeah.
was just presenting it to city council. Like what a cool opportunity. And you know that phrase they say, like you should never meet your heroes. What was coolest to me about it was getting to meet someone who really made an impact and an influence in our church and in our lives that we didn't know, but we got to meet him and to be like, oh, he has a really pure heart. Oh, he's a really kind person. Oh, he really loves Jesus. Oh, we're really building the kingdom together. What a cool thing that
Yeah.
instead I felt like, oh, I'm glad we got to meet this hero. Like, I'm not meeting him and it was disappointing. Instead, he was so honoring that it made it really easy to honor back. And to me, it felt double redeeming. So now I'm probably getting emotional, but that's okay.
Yeah, do it.
It felt double redeeming because like we've had, you and I have not had the easiest run
Right.
of pastors loving us or encouraging us or being kind to us. And so at the very end, he was like, can I pray for y'all? And like the fact that we're the ones now sitting in the building that he built and his love and kindness. I mean, he knew about us. He's been watching. He's been paying attention. He's like, your
And
social
like
media.
is literally quoting sermons that I've
Yeah,
done.
and talked about it. Sorry, your social media team is killing it. What are
Yeah.
they doing? How? I watch y'all. Oh, I saw whenever you did X, Y, Z. Oh, we walked in the podcast room and I'm like, hey, this is the room where we record a podcast that we do. And he's like, oh yeah, the Tug of More. I love it. Y'all are so genuine. Y'all. And I'm like, wait, you pay attention to it?
Right.
But
Where
was-
he should be like, I hate those guys.
yeah.
They
make me sick in my stomach
Yeah.
because they took the building that I
Right.
tried, that was supposed to be mine. And like to have him be that way and then to hear the prayer he prayed over us was just very like humbling and redeeming to me of like, oh, they don't all have to try to compete with you. They don't all have to be mad at you. Oh,
Yeah.
they don't all have to say, what's this dude doing with this lady? Like
Right.
they don't all have to be jerks. Like
Yeah.
they can actually be who we wish in our hearts that all pastors would be. And so it was double redeeming. That's why I kind of got very teary eyed after they left because I was just like, what a beautiful opportunity that God gave us. And sometimes you don't know those gifts are happening until you're like in the moment. And I was like, oh, pay attention, take a snapshot.
Yeah,
This is
it's
so
redeeming
cool.
for him and redeeming for us.
Yes.
But that's what God likes to do. And I just, as you were talking, I was thinking about all the different buildings.
Yeah.
So when we got into Aristide, whoosh, our very first rental, the guy who built that,
Yeah.
Larry Nix, his wife had passed away while they were building it. And him and her built it because she loved to go to Italy. And so I invited him to year one back then. And he came and we had a moment. He cried and got to pray for him. And it redeemed something in him because he got to have church in this building after his wife passed.
On year one. Which was also the first day that this building was a church.
We heard that.
He just told us
He
that.
just told us that their first Sunday in here was our year one.
These are the parts where you're like, oh, God does
God's
what he
doing
does.
something.
He
God's doing
orchestrates things together. And like dates are a huge thing to me. And when they line up like that, I'm always like, oh, I hear you. I see you. Because I'm like, why would they be that date? But they are.
So Larry Nix,
Yes.
then Matlock,
Yep.
which used to be Herbs.
Herbs.
And now Herb, the guy who built Herbs, it was a long story for him. He's a retired WWF wrestler.
Yep.
Long history. Now Herb is coming to More Church.
He was there on Father's Day.
He's living for the Lord.
Absolutely.
I got to tell him a big thank you for what
Absolutely.
he built, redeemed all the things. Pastor Freddie,
Yeah.
we got the North Campus. It was real hard for Pastor Freddie.
Absolutely.
But then he came in on a Wednesday night to a youth service and got to see all of his a bunch of teenagers along with his daughter worshiping. And he literally slid down the wall bawling, crying because God was redeeming it. Because he thought, I'm giving my church away to this. Who are these people and what's
Right.
happening? But he saw his building full of people and it redeemed it for him. Today, Pastor Mark, we got to see him and God redeemed it.
Yeah.
It's what our God wants to do. He wants to redeem what the enemy has stolen. He wants to redeem dark spots. All redeem means is like take it back and rebrand it,
Yeah.
redeem it, save it, rescue it. Boaz redeemed Ruth.
Yeah.
Ruth was redeemed. She was made right again
Yeah.
by Boaz.
Well,
It's what God does.
He works all things for our good according to his purpose. And then, you know, we sing the song, we say it like that what the enemy meant for evil, he turns it for our good. But sometimes in the midst of all the pain, it's really hard to see. And then sometimes even years later where we find healing, we're like, oh, I found healing. That's okay. I don't really need the redemption. I found the healing. But what I love is that our God's like, no, that's not done yet. Like, I'm going to heal it, but I'm also going to redeem it. Those are two different things. And like, he is a God who constantly brings us back to moments where we found pain or heartache or whatever and makes them new again so that, what is the verse? You know, basically so that not only is it's beyond what was broken first. Like it's better than it was before. And so even just having that conversation was like this beautiful, like, oh, we're two pastors now. Pastor Mark's pastoring another church in the city. And it was this opportunity of like, oh, we're two pastors, or four, I guess, of us standing there that are pastoring in the same city. And God's letting us do this thing and like build his kingdom together. And yet now it's better than it was before.
Right.
And so what a cool thing.
I'm trying to. So TD Jakes, who I don't really follow anymore, but I used to when I was younger.
It's a little wild.
he quotes a verse out of Joel all the time. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
The locust one.
And I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten, and the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm have destroyed. And like when TD Jakes preaches, he always talks about the cankerworm. I don't know why he picks that one out of all the different things. It's like, no matter what the cankerworm has devoured, your God is going to restore. And we think of God's restoration as like financial compensation, but it's not. Sometimes it's like a financial compensation, but sometimes this stuff that life, the cankerworm, this ugly little creature has just kind of eaten away at, God's gonna be like, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it new. So we're gonna talk about it, but you got to keep your eyes open to see it.
Yep.
Because if you don't keep your eyes open and even understand that's something that he's up to, then you're going to miss his restoration. And what I believe about this conversation we're having is that now that that's a part of your ethos, that's a part of your understanding, you're about to see redemption moments.
Because you have to be aware and then you have to say yes when the opportunity presents itself.
Right.
Because there was a moment at Torchy's where we were, where all four of us could have said no.
Correct.
Oh, no, I can't. Oh, no, not right now. Oh, no. Or just, good to see ya. Bye.
Yeah.
But there was this evident presence of like,
we were both
attention.
ready for it.
You should, and we should. And I hear the way you're saying, and why don't you come right now? And we have the time, and no, are you sure? And it was like, we all just said, yep, let's go. Let's do it. Let's have this moment. And sometimes a moment like that, you have to instigate. You need to like, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? Hey, can we have a moment? Or sometimes the moment presents itself, but you still have to be willing to say yes. And had we been too busy, had we been in an old mindset, had we had our fists up, guarded, it'd have been easy to be like, oh, well, we've got a podcast to record. We got to go.
Right.
And then who knows what we'd be talking about right now instead of this.
Well, I have a long list, but
yes.
yeah, this is the right one. This is the right one for
today because we said yes. And so like, you have to be aware of it, and then you have to say yes when it presents itself, because it's not always easy.
No.
It's not like God redeems
Redemption
it.
is not simple, and it isn't all the way what you expect.
Yeah.
Like for me, you know how sometimes seasons or moments or things, they just kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth? And it's almost like for me, what God does many times in redemption is he just puts a new taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm swimming in the ocean, I try to remember to bring like Jolly Ranchers because I hate the salt water. I hate the saltwater taste. But if I can just throw a Jolly Rancher in my mouth,
Right, then you're not so.
then I so enjoy it. And what God does in some of these real salty moments is he's like,
Here you go.
you just need one Jolly Rancher, and it like changes the whole experience.
Well, I think that's-
so. Like if you went through a real ugly divorce,
Yeah.
I promise there's going to be a moment of a little bit of redemption somewhere, or a custody battle, or you claim bankruptcy, or some ugly thing.
Broken friendship, broken dream, broken situation where you just feel like I put myself out there and I got burned, or I tried something new and I failed. And there's all these times where it's like God just comes back around full circle and he's like, nah, what you thought was failure was actually an opportunity for me to be faithful to you.
And sometimes, man, so many thoughts. Sometimes that redemption is in a Jolly Rancher, and sometimes it's just in a fully nailed, shut, closed door.
Absolutely.
And that like guaranteed block is also kind of healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, oh, I'm allowed to not even go there anymore. We got to tell some stories.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Whitney's getting ready to start a sermon series.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thrilled about.
Yes.
We've been saying, Whitney, you got to preach this series. She's doing it. She's running it. I'm not even speaking for 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
She's telling the story of Joseph.
Yes.
Redemption.
Super redemption.
Like, is there a better, other than like the resurrection,
right.
is there another like
Full redemption.
full redemption of what God does in a beautiful story? I
Yeah.
can't wait for our people to hear it.
Yeah, me too.
And
It'll
so
be good.
it's not this Sunday, starting the next Sunday.
No pressure.
Little plug. No pressure. It's the
I
Bible.
know.
The Bible's doing the heavy lifting.
It's what you were talking about last week. You got emotional talking about it. That like
It's one of your. It's your story.
It's when one of your stories like changed your life.
Yeah.
Then it's like very intimidating to try to put it all out there in
It's your Joshua.
a few weeks. Yeah. And so like for you years ago you did the Joshua series, which was heavy and like and also game changing for the church and for your life. And so I feel the same way a little bit in a good way of like. But yeah, the redemption of what God was able to do for Joseph, but then just for his people. And I think that's the thing about redemption is what we're talking about right now. It's not just for one of us, it's for all of us.
Yeah.
And like when he redeems, he doesn't waste anything. He doesn't waste blessing. He doesn't waste redemption. He doesn't waste oil, all of that. He redeems in a way that, and so for Joseph's story, his story was redeemed, but so is his brother's story. And so is the people of God eventually because of being used. But he had to be, in the moment of redemption, he had to say yes to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest piece of these moments of redemption is that we have to be open to receive them, or else we miss it. And I think that's the sweet part of redemption is like, God wants us to be healed and whole. He doesn't want us to hold on to that anymore.
Right.
He doesn't want us to walk in unforgiveness. He doesn't want us to walk in the pain and the hurt and the yesterday. He wants us to walk into the more that he has for us and the way that he can do that.
Yesterday.
Yes.
I don't know the other words to that song.
They're probably singing on Sunday, maybe. I don't know if they are or not. But
Okay.
no, they're not. But Oh,
Are we telling
oh,
some
yeah.
stories?
Okay, yeah, go. What do you have one?
Well, I don't know. Where should we start? Should I start like childhood, or should I just start like with the obvious?
Yeah, I don't know.
I told
Whichever
Pastor
one.
Mark a
Oh
story.
yeah. Tell that one.
So when we first started the church, Rachel and I were under another pastor, and there was a lot of hurt from that
Yeah.
couple
Transition
and transition, all the
season.
things. And so the house that he lived in was in my like emotional space is like a dark memory. And so every time I would drive down like the major street next to his neighborhood, it was a tangible immediate memory every time of this like dark cloud in the city. And we talked about this a little bit with Dump the Trailer.
Oh yeah.
Is that what we called that episode?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hot corner.
It's
Dump the
still-
Trailer.
Dump the Trailer is still written right now on my whiteboard. I need to erase it.
Oh.
But I was from the day that we were like, we have to do that
We have to do that
episode.
one.
And people walk into my office all the time. They're like, Dump the Trailer.
Yeah,
Dump the Trailer.
that should be on Enrique's board. Why is that on your
yeah,
board?
why?
And so it was just like this dark place. And every time I drove by, I felt kind of heavy and gross about it. Well, a couple years go by, and these people, they start coming to the church, and they start serving and giving.
Yep.
And Rachel like made a comment to a friend about how our washer and dryer broke, and these people just bought us a washer and dryer and like showed up with this brand new washer and dryer. And we're like, what is going on?
Right.
And then they say, hey, want to have you guys over for dinner? And I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll go over for dinner. Send us your address. They had bought the same house that pastor had lived in, and I had had so many
Hard, tough moments.
in that house. And we walked into dinner and were honored. He cooked us tri-tip steak. We ate. They encouraged us. And it was literally like God was shouting, do you see me redeeming it for you?
Yeah.
Like, trust and I love you so much that I don't want you to have this dark spot in this city. So I've orchestrated
Yeah.
all of this just to redeem something. And that's what our God will do. But I never would have expected it like that.
Right.
What I thought the redemption would be is like a big apology from this guy and who knows what I thought. But God was like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But you know what I
Yeah.
can do? I can just give you a wink that like I'm on your side.
No, it's good. I mean, I think of simple ones and big ones. There's like all kinds of like, I can think of a couple times twice in my like life of like jobs that I had where I got treated super poorly and like things where like I didn't do anything wrong here. Why is this happening? And then like felt this like just be quiet, be silent, don't fight it, just keep doing you, just keep being you. And then like literally within a month later, the person who did me wrong, it got found out that actually they were a big fat liar, you know,
Right.
and like these simple moments, but it was like a way that God was like, hey, I'll redeem stuff. And I think those small moments are what taught me to be open
Yeah.
to the big moments,
Yeah.
like a moment like today, because I'm like, oh wait, if he will do that over something so silly and small over me feeling like I got gypped here or didn't misunderstood here, then how much more will he do that in my family? How much
Yeah.
more will he do that for something deep, a deep wound in my heart? I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a good big story to tell, but I don't know what else you got.
I went back to Michigan
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
this last year or a year ago, or I don't remember when.
Yeah.
And I got to go and see my youth pastor that like I grew up under. He was my youth pastor and got to tour his church building and talk with him a little bit. And I gave him like a big thank you.
Yeah.
And then he gave me a big thank you. And it was kind of like a redeeming, like, because he watches.
Yeah. Yeah.
He watches the messages. He watches the podcast. He talked about how he like uses stuff that I've done and looks for inspiration on things. And it was like, oh,
Yeah.
like just a little nod of like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
I am doing something
Good.
good. Maybe I do get to give back to this guy who gave me so much. It
Yeah.
was redeeming. I talk about my friend Jeff. Shout
Yeah.
out. We need to mail Jeff. Jeff, if you'll tell him around town, I'll send you a hat. But if you don't tell him around town, I'm not sending you a hat.
Yeah. Don't be a sleeper.
No, but he's watching.
Watcher. I know, but he's got it all-
on the tug team.
I know.
But like I've told the story of how Jeff called me one night, kind of at the end of his rope,
Yeah.
and how he just needed to talk to somebody, and like that moment redeemed something in me that was like, oh, all those years when I was witnessing and trying to lead all these guys closer to God, it redeemed in me like, oh, it wasn't wasted.
Yeah.
And I've just got so many times that like, but that you have to be faithful.
You have
if you're
to.
if you're not like long-term faithful,
right,
you're never going to see him. And we see it now. We've got a couple that started coming back to the church that's been gone for like 6 years.
Yeah.
And they just came back. And we're watching God start to work in their life again.
Right.
But you know what it took? It took us still being here.
Just still being present and staying the same. I think that's the thing of like.
Because if it's on the third pastor, they're not.
Right.
They're not coming
What
back.
good does that do? And I think about times where just being who God makes you to be. I remember this moment where this girl came up to me like, hey, you believe in Jesus, right? Hey, I'm really walking through this hard time and I really need you to pray for me. And can you just encourage me in this moment? And I got this opportunity to like sit with this woman that I kind of knew, but also kind of didn't know at all, but just because my reputation preceded me. But the only reason that was, I didn't like go out and be like, hello, I believe in Jesus. God has called me to be a pastor. Right now I'm doing this job instead. In the meantime, I'm not doing that.
No.
Just being myself, like just encouraging people where I'm at, blooming where I'm planted. But I remember in that moment, like, oh God, where I think you've forgotten me, you still see me. Like you illuminated. There's no one else who could have illuminated me to her for her to come to other than you, like because somewhere somebody else must have said to her, oh, she loves God, I've never had a Jesus conversation with this woman before, and I think so many times that in those he's just trying to tell us like, good job, but we have to be aware enough to hear him and to allow it to happen. I don't know,
it's just sometimes God just wants to whisper in your ear, you've done well.
Right.
There was a guy that I really wanted approval from a long time ago when I was like in my 20s. And it's just kind of came out that this guy's whole life has fallen apart. We were just talking about it the other day. And like, I'm really sad for him. But then in that real sad for him, there's a part of me that God is like, hey, good job.
Right.
Like, good job at not, because I remember choosing to stop seeking this guy's approval.
Yeah.
Because approval will kill you, which could be a whole episode. Like,
absolutely,
living your life to gain somebody else's approval is super dangerous. Like,
super dangerous.
We should live for an audience of one. I did a whole sermon on that in Get Off the Throne. Like, live for an audience of one, not for the crowd. And he was one of the first guys that I had to like decide, I'm not living for his approval.
Right.
And then like, when the fruit of his chaos comes out, God's like, good job, son.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, absolutely. But I think the other part with the redemption, like of what we talked about, the identifying it, but then the saying yes to it moment is that sometimes we've been wounded. I'm just keep thinking about the people who've been wounded and these moments present themselves. And instead of leaning in, we stiff arm. And I wonder for us what it will take for some of us to be willing to put our arms down and just be willing to receive, because it could be really easy for you and I when those people walked up today to be like, oh, here they come again, here's coming somebody to say a little cutting word, or another pastor who's kind of ticked at us for some reason or another, and so thanks, good to see you, and we could have shut the conversation
My flesh
down,
didn't want to open up,
right, but in our recognition of the fact that our God's a redeeming God, what's it going to hurt to open up and see? I've already been wounded, so what's it going to hurt more to just be kind and generous for 10 minutes, and then maybe God will, they'll move on, and maybe that'll be all that God wanted to do, or maybe God will open up this opportunity. And I think I just keep thinking about the people who desperately want some redemption in their life, and maybe God is bringing those opportunities to you. But are you putting your arms and your fists down enough to receive it? Or are you just stiff-arming and shutting it down before you can get hurt again? And
because maybe they've changed.
You don't know what God's been doing.
Right. We just did Jacob and Esau.
Yeah.
And like a part of the message I was going to cut, and Whitney was like, as I'm talking through, like I don't have time to tell the whole story how I want to.
Yeah.
Whitney was like, you have to keep this part in.
Yeah.
Of Jacob comes back.
Yeah.
And Esau accepts him. And I'm talking about how God's wrestling Jacob, but maybe God was wrestling Esau too.
Right.
And like, maybe that person you hope that there's some kind of redemption with, maybe they're not as arrogant as they used to be.
Right.
Maybe
right.
they're not as proud or prideful or
Yeah.
whatever. And
Yeah.
but put your fist down
Yeah.
and just walk humbly and see what God has in store.
No, I think that's something I've had to learn in this last season is like being back in conversation with people I haven't been in conversation relationship with in a long time.
How much do you want to talk about that?
I don't know yet, so that's why
Okay.
I'm like not yet, not all the way yet.
Okay.
So, but I think about I have to be willing to have new vision for it. I have to be willing to have new opinions about it, new openness to it,
New
rather
grace,
than
new grace,
new grace,
new mercies.
new mercies, rather than coming in with old expectations. I think is the
And hey, you're doing really good at it.
thanks. I'm trying.
You're doing really good.
Thanks. I'll talk about it at some point. But
It's hard.
it's in the
guys.
midst of it, you know.
Because there's still people in my life that if like the opportunity presented
Yeah.
itself,
Yeah.
I would not handle it well.
Right.
And you know what? That's why God's not bringing the redemption opportunity.
Well, I think that's
because he knows I'd screw it up.
No, you're 100% right. And like, I think that's why it's been slow.
It's been slow.
Because God knows, like, hey, I'm trying to do something, but you've got to be open and willing, and I've got to be open and they've got to be open and willing. And so on both,
the timing has to be right.
there's a dance to it. And so that's the part I keep just thinking is like, don't shut it down. When it presents itself, don't say, nah, I'm good. We're really good in our society with boundaries and how we've all drawn these boundaries, but then we draw so many boundaries that we just cut ourselves off from
Yeah.
everyone and everything. And I'm like, how much healing are we missing? How much redemption are we missing?
Yeah.
Because we drew our own human boundaries.
Yeah.
And God's like, I'm trying to break those boundaries down.
God wants to replot it.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
Let God replot it. It
Yeah.
might not look like it used to,
No,
but he's got a plan.
absolutely.
Okay, what else? God wants to redeem the things. So if there's a place or a person or a situation that's like shrouded in funk, F-U-N-K, darkness, start praying about it.
Yeah.
And just tell God, be like, hey, God, I need this thing to be redeemed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not telling you how or when, but can you just start, can you help me see how you've already started
Yep.
redeeming this thing
Right.
so that I can be free of this pain?
The other part is, and that's why I'm proud of you in it. The reason why the whole conversation started in the first place is because you reached out a while ago,
Right.
In the very beginning. And sometimes in our need or hope or prayer or belief for redemption, sometimes we need to be the one to help offer redemption to somebody else.
Well, I was glad to be on that side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we don't sometimes realize, but we do have the ability in our life
To redeem something to somebody else.
Rachel yesterday was kind and generous to some people
Mm-hmm.
that she didn't really have to be. And you and I were even talking about it. Like, our spouses are just nicer than us sometimes.
Aaron and Rachel are better people
Humans,
than
Christians,
Trustin and Whitney.
people. Yes. And
Just put that out there
and
on
I
the
was
record.
saying to you today, though, like, but she remembers what it's like to be that little girl who
Right.
has walked through that pain. And
Yeah.
when you've been in a seat of,
I wish someone would have done that
I
to
wish
me.
someone would have done it for me.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier to then offer it to somebody else.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, maybe you know somebody in your life that you're connected to or have any opportunity to or any ability to just be a friend or reach out, and maybe you're the redemption that God wants to bring in their life. And
Wow.
like, what if you have that opportunity? And if we have that opportunity to be a part of God's redemptive story, then what are we doing? Why would we hold on to it? Let's give it away. It's free, right?
Well, you said so good. I feel like while some listeners heard that the Lord quickened something in your mind. You know, one of the ways the Holy Spirit speaks to us is through a quickening,
Yeah.
like a thought, a idea,
Yeah.
a hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Yeah.
And so while she just said that, if you had a quickening that you're supposed to offer redemption to somebody else, don't wait.
Yeah.
Don't sit on it for a year. Don't pray about it for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Don't process it 100 times. Just open it up.
Don't pray about it for 6 months. This is the thing that
Okay.
I
I knew you were about to grab onto that.
Well, because it just makes me crazy too. Like, you don't need to pray about things that are obedient.
Yeah. If God said it,
Do it.
do it. You don't have
even if you're not sure if he said it or if your mind said it, if it's kind, if it's loving, if it's redemptive, do it.
Yeah,
like
do it.
that is still going to please God.
Yeah. If you need to call someone and tell them you're sorry.
Right.
If you need to call someone and tell them thank you. If
You are never going to do that out of alignment with God's will to apologize.
Because he's the Redeemer.
Like
and
you're
so he
never,
wants you to be a Redeemer.
You don't need to pray about, is that God's will?
That's really good.
You just need to do it.
Yeah.
And so like, it's like, if you know this is the right thing to do, you don't need to pray about the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Just do it. And he'll work it out. Because that's the part of it that I can hear somebody say, yeah, but what if they don't receive it? Well, that's not on you. That's on them.
Well, this guy I had reached out to well over 6 months ago.
Yeah.
No, it was we were in a fast. That was a long time ago.
That was almost a year ago.
Yeah, I reached out to him. And like
That was a year ago.
He said yes and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just need to be obedient.
Yeah.
Remember? I was nervous.
Yeah.
It was just me being obedient to do this thing. And you know what it might have taken him? A year or two on.
Right.
And then God's like, you're both ready.
Yeah. And I think that's
Torchies.
Here's some sweet tea and queso. Boom.
Yeah.
Like for real, it's like
Healing. All of heaven's up there like, good job.
yes. And so I'm like, just do it. Just jump on it. One, we're not promised tomorrow. Two, you don't need to pray about what is just goodness, kindness, fruits of the Spirit.
Yeah.
You don't need to pray about those things. They're just obedience. And then three, like you do not know what God wants to do in and through you from your obedience. Because I'm like, we would have missed that.
Nailed it.
And now I'm just like sitting over here super like, I'm going this weekend to another church to speak. And there is still an anxiety, even though I know this church, I love them, they're wonderful people, they love me. There is still an anxiety in me sometimes to go to somewhere else because of the hurt of the past. There's still a, what will people say? What will happen? Is somebody going to actually at the end of it just be mean or whatever that wants to live in me? And I literally felt it like, some of that healing me today when we were praying with those people of like, oh, God is surrounding us with people who love us and want to be a part of building the kingdom. That's all you and I want.
That's all we want.
Is other people in the world who want to build the kingdom with us. We're not trying to be only more church by ourselves on an island.
Yeah.
But I felt like God was like, see, I'm showing you. They're out there, you know?
They're not going to hurt you.
No, I know. But I know that.
Wish you'd try. We just had a guy say something to Whitney not too long ago. Dude, I was about to jump in the truck.
Oh, it's stupid. That's stupid, though. Who cares?
I was riled up.
It's dumb.
Okay, so God redeems all the things. Sometimes he redeems them with like positive
Right?
healing, but sometimes he redeems them through healing. But I think sometimes he can redeem stuff through a like nailed, closed door no.
And that's good, too.
So let me tell the two. So I have had the privilege to go back and preach at my home church in Michigan. I had the privilege to go and preach at the youth camp I got called to ministry in. These were like redeeming, like high level, oh my God, moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a youth pastor at a big church in Houston, and that ended kind of grossly. Not for me, just
Other
when organizations are really political, there's casualties along the way, and so I was a casualty of other stuff, and so I was hurt in that process, and I really wanted to go back to preach on that stage. And we worked as hard as we could to make that happen. Whitney and I begged, borrowed, and stole. Not really, but like we pulled every string.
We were
had.
in our humanness trying to make a redemption moment. That's the way to say it. Yeah.
Bang. In our humanness, we were trying to redeem it. And do you know what God did? In his goodness, he not only didn't allow me to redeem it how I wanted, he nailed the door shut so hard that I won't ever even think of knocking.
Right.
Because
he made it so evident.
Oh, they're still gross.
Yeah. This is not for you, and I don't want you even connected to it or touching it.
This is gross.
Yeah.
And so he had to like blow it up on me a little bit for me to take my ego off the throne.
Yeah.
And be like, no.
Yeah.
And so sometimes his redemption is a slap.
Yeah. Kind of hurts. Right.
And
No,
that's what a good father does.
Yeah.
A good father every once in a while pops his son in the head, goes, hey, dude, no.
Right.
This is not for you. And sometimes that's redemption.
No, it's good. Sometimes you didn't get the job. Sometimes the friendship that doesn't want to mend.
Right.
Sometimes the relationship that you can't put back together. Whatever it is, you have to see that as another redemptive and a protective God moment of like, he is a good father and he knows what's best. And like, it sometimes sucks and feels painful, but no, I agree 100%.
So what you've got to do there is get over it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we try to hold on to stuff that God's trying to amputate, and it just keeps hurting us.
Right.
And it's because you're not learning to just
let him prune it so something new.
Okay,
can grow.
I'm not going to date them.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going to work in that field anymore.
Right.
Okay, that's not the city whatever. Like,
I'm not going to force it.
I'm not going to force it, because when you're just trying to force it and God's trying to redeem it, not through healing, but through closed, severed relationship, you're cruising for a bruising if you won't just get over it.
Well, and you'll miss the new that he's trying to do in your life.
We had this guy in our church. I love this guy. Handsome. Good dude.
Talented.
All the things.
Entrepreneurial spirit.
And
Did I say that right?
Yeah, entrepreneurial. He's dating this lady.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love God.
Who was pulling him away from God.
Pulling him away. She's all insecure that he's a part of the church, and all those women at that church, they just negative. And I'd talk to him, and it'd say, I know I need to leave her. I know we're unequally yoked, but then I'm going to be single, and I'm just afraid that what am I going to do? And so how many years are we in now?
Yeah. Several.
And she's now pulled him all the way away.
Yeah.
Pulled him all the way away. Not just out of the church, out of relationship with God.
Yeah.
And it's like, because he was too afraid to sever this one thing, it pulled him away from everything that God was doing good in his life.
Absolutely.
And you know what makes me saddest? Because I know I'm going to be here, he'll come back through.
Yeah, at some point. Right.
Now, it might be like 3 months, it might be 7 years.
Right.
But like, I'm just waiting for the day that I'm up during worship, about to go up and preach, and he comes walking down the aisle, tail between his legs, crying, and hugs me. I'm going to love him and welcome him, but I'm just like, dang it, dude. You didn't have to put yourself through all that.
Yeah. Don't force
it.
Redemptive moments. Don't force moments God's trying to release. I think it's important because because he has new that he wants to do. He has redemptive things he wants to do in your life. But like, that's not up to you. You and I could not have forced the moment today to happen the way it did. Or it would have probably just been dirty and ugly and weird.
Well, because if I would have tried to force it a year ago, that guy would have been like, what's wrong with this? It
wouldn't have been pure. It wouldn't have been
No, I just
real.
opened the door.
Yeah. And so it's like, just walk through the door when he opens it. Yeah, open the door when he's knocking on it. Like, that kind of piece of it, I think, is important, because when we try to force it, it just, we make a mess. We make a mess sometimes of what God wants to redeem. And it's like, no. He was like, I was doing it. I was working it. And I think that's the thing. It's like, have the patience to trust and know. Because I'm thinking of some people who, in 2020, we all learned, some of our priorities all got realigned in good ways and bad ways. And we all learned some things we wanted and didn't want. And I know some people who changed their life around, maybe moved to a new location, new house, new city. Oh, I want to live out in the country now. Oh, I want to. And they tried to redeem their story of what God was already redeeming. He was already redeeming some things, but they tried to hurry it up.
Yeah.
And now they're in a mess.
Yeah.
And it's like, ever since you bought that house, your life has been a mess.
Right.
Ever since you moved to that city, did God tell you to do that, or did you try to force a redemptive situation?
Yeah.
Because you just didn't have the patience.
You thought it should look this way.
To wait and see how God was going to redeem it. And so, and if you've been there and you've done that, that's okay. It's never too late to go back. It's never too late to say, hey, God, that was silly. I'm sorry. I'll go back to where you had me last. Like, go back to the last place that you left God. Not that he left you, that you left him.
Yeah.
And let him heal it. Because golly, I'm just thinking about it. Like, we like to get in our own way so much. And it's like, if we could just slow down and let him do it and let him show us, then on the other, because it's not as fast as I want it to be.
Ever.
But
until it is.
But it's right. But
Like-
it's the timing that is right for him. He knows the timing in our hearts and minds and in our story. And like, oh, I see what you're doing there. Oh,
I had a lady come up to me on Sunday, and she had a prophetic word for me,
Mm-hmm.
which all that means is that the Holy Spirit spoke something to her for me.
yes.
And you know how sometimes those are true is because they tell you something that you never would have thought of because you kind of don't agree with it.
Yeah. You want to fight it a little bit.
And she had a lot that she said, but the sentence that nailed me is she said, Trustin, don't become tired of resting. And it's such a silly, like to most people, how do you get tired of resting? Like, but to me, it's a very real, like,
It was a smack in the face.
because I am. I'm on the edge everywhere of like just muscle the thing into.
Yeah.
Let God redeem it, man.
Yeah.
Trust His timing.
Well, and I mean, the verse that we quote all the time, to him who is able
Yeah.
to do exceedingly abundantly beyond what we ask, think, or imagine. But we like to be like, but this is what I imagine. And so
And it's pretty good.
It's pretty great. So why don't we do what I imagine and it'll be awesome? And it's like, no, to him who is able, not to me that is able,
Yeah.
but to him that is able. And I'm like, dang it, it sucks. But yeah, we have to do it. We have to just let him do it in his power, in his timing, in his strength. And we have to trust that that way is better than our way.
Yeah.
That's the part I don't like.
Guys, we're in a new studio and we don't have our clock up.
I know.
So I don't know
was
how long
looking.
I've been talking.
We've
How
been
long have we
talking
been
for
talking?
50 minutes.
Oh, well, then it's about time to land this plane.
Yeah. So I was like, what time did we start? Oh, yeah.
What
So,
else?
I don't know.
What else is happening? Does your hat stand for Aaron Barth?
No, but that's
Your
a good
hat
idea.
says AB on it.
It's a brand, Anina Bing.
It doesn't stand for Aaron Barth?
Yes, now it does.
Come on.
100% forever.
Come on, AA Ron.
Good idea. No, but yeah, it's just a girl brand. But now it does. That's what it means.
Denim is now a thing everywhere back.
Yeah.
McKinley had a full
90s
denim set
is-
up.
Everything 90s is new again.
Looking like Jay Leno tuxedo.
All these kids be dressing like we used to dress in high school, and then they're like, look at this cool trend. I'm like, I already did that.
I put on my baggy jeans today.
Yeah.
Because all the young ones tell me to wear these baggy
Mm-hmm.
jeans. And I'm walking in the house and Rachel says, Tristan, your butt looks all saggy in those pants. And I'm like,
Leave it to her to say it.
I was like,
the best, like,
well, I can't please everybody. I got
right
saggy
before we
butt.
started, I said, am I sitting weird or am I sitting in a way that makes me look like Fatty Boom Baladi or whatever? And the thing I
Fatty
love about
Boom Baladi.
I think I love about Rachel is whenever I used to be like, that makes me look fat, or I don't like that picture, it makes me look, and she's like, hey, that's just the way you look. Like she didn't mean it mean, she's just being serious, like, hey,
Yeah.
if you don't like it, you should fix it.
Yeah,
'cause
try being
that's
married
just
to her.
the way it looks.
Try being married to her. She'd
I
just be
love it.
saying it straight. I'm like, ow.
She's like, I'm not being mean. I'm just saying. I'm like, well, yeah, she right. Lillian had a choker the other day. And she
Necklace,
was
yeah.
telling Rachel, Mom, you don't know about these chokers.
Mom,
I'm
look
like,
at this new thing that I got.
Rachel's like, girl, I'm been in chokers. What are you talking
I'm
about?
just waiting for her to show up
I
with a
got the
hookah
ring.
shell
What's it called?
necklace.
Ringer. The ringer tee. My tank top is a ringer tank top. That was cool in the 90s. We already did
I used
that.
to have ringer t-shirts.
Yeah, we
Can
used to
guys
have
wear
them.
ringer tees
Yeah,
again?
it's cool again.
But they kind of look like you're trying to flex everywhere, don't they? If you're a guy, because the sleeves,
Oh, I don't
it
know.
looks like your sleeves are rolled up.
But aren't you trying to flex everywhere? Like, I mean,
Sometimes.
if you're a
but
guy,
no.
aren't you supposed to be?
Yeah. Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
I talked about this the other day. I'm about to do like a 12-week, really intensive, like diet focus.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that we should like do collectively? Like, would that be beneficial to you? Sound off. Tug team, if you need like motivation to do like a 12-week diet focus with some friends, is that something that you would want to be a part of? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. What is the diet?
Counting my calories for 12 weeks.
Just counting calories.
Well, like setting a goal. Here's my protein, carbs, and fats.
Here's my macros.
Here's my macros, and I'm going to, because what's happened is I've now reached a plateau. I've now gotten to like, here's my weight.
The macro
I'm
thing used
sustaining
to
it.
stress me out so bad. It doesn't as much anymore because of the internet and
MyFitnessPal.
Yeah, all of those. It used to massively overwhelm me. But
So
yeah,
I'm like,
okay. So, you're
I've
just-
reached a plateau where I'm like, this is the weight that I'm at, and like,
So we don't
I'm
need
not-
to subscribe to something for $17.99 a month from you.
No,
It's not that.
no, but I should do that, but I'm not.
It's not.
All these pastors be just raking money in off their people.
God, it's
These pastors be like, do you want me to be your life coach? You can pay me extra money.
That's it. Or weren't we going to talk about that? Oh, it's the sermon series. We're going to talk about flipping the tables.
I want to do a series called Flip the Table.
God, I want to flip that table so hard.
People about to be.
You do not need to pay someone to give you wisdom. That's called being in community.
Yeah,
But
you just need to. We give you a hat for $29.99 for free.
Now listen.
This is free wisdom.
Go to counseling.
Yeah.
A certified licensed professional counselor. That's one thing.
But don't go to some lady who doesn't have a husband and got 19 cats and call her a life coach.
No, I don't like it. It makes me mad.
Sorry.
It just makes me mad at some of these people that give spiritual wisdom and they charge you money, and I'm like, no.
No, they just hand you a Beth Moore book and tell you to stupid.
It makes me mad at.
Okay, so what do we do? So, okay, is that something that you guys want to be a part of?
Is that helpful?
I don't even know what we would do.
Soapboxes today. I'm on my soapboxes today. I don't mean to be.
What else you got?
No, because I said that about.
Do you think people on our staff would want to do it or no?
Yeah, I told you already my opinion. My opinion is this.
Okay,
the people who always participate will participate.
Okay.
And the people who never participate will also never participate. And so it's going to be helpful to the ones who like to participate.
But remember we just did the 5K?
Yeah.
I'm not about to try to plan a new 5K.
Yes.
But how many people told us that because they knew we were doing the 5K, they started walking.
Right.
And they started preparing.
Absolutely.
And like after we did Treat Yourself, a bunch of people started like a health journey. And so I'm like, maybe they just need like a motivator.
I'm not saying don't do it.
But I don't even know what we would do. What do we do?
Just like, I mean, do we want to do like the office and we get the big weigh machine and then we all weigh and then we see if we as the staff can lose the weight, remember?
Yes.
And then Pam passes out and everybody's...
No, the Indian lady.
Oh, the Indian girl, Megan.
Kelly.
What's her name? Kelly.
Kelly passes out.
Yes. I said Megan Kelly. Oops, political. I didn't mean to. That's a political lady.
Yeah.
Kelly is her name.
No, I don't know. It's just like, here's what I think. What if you like... I had a website idea years ago. I never did it. Should I give it out now? It might be genius. So here's my genius idea. You start a website and you set a goal for yourself for a certain amount of time, amount of weight you want to lose. And you have to send this website
a blackmail website.
Pictures of yourself.
Naked.
Not naked,
Not
but like in a bikini
naked,
or like a Speedo, like a horrible outfit. You have to send a picture of yourself. And you have to send the email addresses of 10 people in your life. And if you don't reach your goal, they email these photos to those 10 people, or you have to pay them $1,000. Wouldn't that motivate you? Wouldn't that motivate you to not eat a bag of Doritos?
This is the thing that
would motivate, right?
You that
look, Julie just threw her Cheez-Its across the room.
This is the thing of you that makes me laugh the most.
Why? What?
Because it's like, I will force myself.
I will
through brute force or humiliation to do the thing.
Okay, so here's what we want you to do, everybody. Email Pastor Trustin pictures of yourself.
Your worst pictures.
And if you don't reach your goal, I'm going to show them on the big screen on Sunday.
Exactly. That would be perfect. Oh my God. These people, he's not really going to do that. But also, would you like to participate?
Please don't cut that clip.
We could do some sort of like percentage contest like gyms do. I don't know.
It's not even against anybody else. It's just
I think
like
that's the best part.
People
just
need a goal.
Or they just need the camaraderie of I'm in
12 weeks, I'm going to lose 6 pounds.
Isn't that the thing about 75 Hard? Is that it's 75 days.
Yeah.
And then if you quit, the only thing I don't like about 75 Hard is that if you fail one day, then you have to start at the beginning. Yeah. I don't like that because I'm like, no, his mercies are new every morning. Now, that is not a reason to keep letting grace abound and to fail every day. But the camaraderie of 12 weeks of like people together, that would be fun. What is 12 times 7 is 4. What is it? 84 days?
Yep. It's 3 months.
Tug of 84?
Tug of 80. If that's it, the tug of 84. Do the math, Jules.
Oh, is it 96? It's 84, right? I don't know. Am I
84?
right? Okay.
Dude, the tug of 84.
What? See, geniuses.
Okay. So today we're officially launching our fully thought out, no holes in it plan. The tug of 80
doesn't start yet, though. You said we're not going to start until after you go to that camp.
Yeah, I can't start because I'm going to preach a youth camp and it's chaos.
We can't do it when it's summer vacation.
Yeah, but like that's it's like August. What if we start at August 1?
Yeah, August.
What if we start at August 1?
Yeah.
Or maybe what does that week start? August 3rd?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's August through October. So August 1 to October 31.
Oh, so then we can eat all the candy we want on Halloween.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and then you puke your guts out.
Yeah. No. That's
Okay,
gross.
I don't know what to do. If you're interested and want to be a part of that,
Just
we
say
want
yes
us to-
or no. Let us know.
If you want us to
Sound
put
off.
something together, we'll put something together and make a website.
Yep. I hope
Because
that-
apparently it's easy to make a website. You know, Tim just made a website for Daddy Issues. He just made a web page.
It's a web page.
A web page. That's what I'm saying. We'll just make a web page.
Oh, on the church web page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tug of More
We already
84.
have a blah 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 thing that is like a hosting site. Like it's harder to set up a whole new website.
We have a Tug of More website.
No.
We have a Tug of
But
More landing page?
Do we have a landing page for it? We need a page. We
What?
should get a page. What? Now we will. Okay, here's what we'll do.
Okay.
We'll make a Tug of More page, and then
Yes.
on the page we'll do like a, and then they can click and they can register.
And then we'll also post the photos of
just saying
the
it's
people tomming
easier
around
to-
town.
Geniuses. Wait, do it again. That was a bad one.
Guys, we're just making it. We're just making a church around here.
We feel excited, obviously, today because God was redeeming things.
This new
So we're
studio
praying-
is better too. Because
Yes.
the other one was hot.
and small, and so we felt like this.
I feel like I just have
don't
to
know
only
that.
have serious words come out of my mouth.
And now it's like, what? Look at this big space.
But we really need lights and cameras.
More lights and new lights.
New. These
These are
jokers,
just older.
guys, we got zip ties and duct tape holding this crap together.
In 2016, we bought used camera, not these, but our point and shoot cameras. I don't know what they're called. Point and shoot. What do you call a camera?
DXLRs.
DSL. Yeah,
DSLR.
DSLRs.
What is DXLR? That's the clothing store for fat guys.
Ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
Okay.
2016 or 17, probably 17, but maybe 16. I don't know. We didn't have very much money, so we bought used DSLRs from a guy we knew,
The guy that used to be in my youth group.
and those are the cameras we still shoot with on Sunday.
Are used cameras from 2016. And then Tiffany dropped one on a Sunday.
Yeah, Tiffany, shout out.
Tiffany, shout out.
She didn't mean to, but what was great, thank God, is Tim was preaching. Because if you'd have been preaching,
I'd have been like, oh!
there's no way you would have been able to you'd have been like, looking at me like, did you see that?
You know what I said? I'd have said, the ushers are going to come, take them an offering to buy a new camera because Tiffany just obliterated
You would
her.
not have, you wouldn't have embarrassed her, but
want
you
to.
would have been very distracted. I don't know how Tim, I think Sloan has helped Tim keep a
No,
straight
Tim
face.
is just kind.
Yeah, but he wasn't even distracted by it. That's
Oh.
the part. I was like, did you and he's like, I mean, I kind of saw it was happening, but I was not distracted. And
I am unnecessarily observative.
yeah. If we're driving in my car and the one lock is you're like, can you please lock the car so that it stops?
No,
doing-"
I'm highly, maybe there's something wrong with me. What is
I
that
think
called?
it's probably a ADHD,
Oh, here we go.
No,
I was at
not
lunch,
a bad thing.
I was
I'm
at lunch
saying-
with Tim, and he says, "Hey, Pastor, do you realize that since we've been at lunch, you've brought up 5 different background noises while we've been sitting here?" I'm like, "What?" So you talked about this dog barking. You talked about the traffic. You talked about how they're jackhammering somewhere.
Yeah.
He's like, you know that's what did he say? If I'm on the spectrum or what did
No,
he?
ADHD.
Oh, he says that's like an
ADHD.
ADHD thing, and I'm like, I don't know. Thanks, Tim.
I think it might be though, not in a bad, not super bad. There's no doubt you and I both have some level
Something wrong.
of attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
I got some stuff wrong for
No.
sure. There's no question.
And so I'm just saying.
Clip that. Clip that.
Clip that.
Just me saying I got some stuff wrong. I know that.
Okay, we went off the rails totally. but
All right.
It's because we got
Tug
a
of
new
More.
space.
Tug of More for
Tom around
84,
town.
Biggest Loser Edition. We're gonna make a website.
But you're not a
page.
loser, biggest winner edition. That's what we should call it. See?
We're gonna get Jillian. What if we dress up? You can be Jillian
We
and I
got
can be
Jillian?
Bob.
Oh my God, I would be so happy. Oh, I thought we were gonna get Bob and Jillian, but we can be Bob and Jillian.
We're gonna put on costumes and
I love
be
it.
them.
That's our.
Jillian looks like a lion.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. We were
What?
amazing characters at camp.
Guys, Whitney and I can do it all.
I
We don't do any of it well, but we can do it all.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
but
Do we want to show a picture?
yeah, ready? When we did only one skit together, and they were like, "That was the best one." I'm like, "Well, yeah, hello."
Well, yeah, dynamic duo.
We just were amazing.
Whitney
and exciting.
Whitney played herself.
Yes, I played.
And I kind of played
Mabel.
myself, I guess.
Yes, I was the overbearing mother who wanted. I was the momager, and then you were the rock star,
Rockstar pyrotechnic
maniac person. Hello.
And they're gonna make me
They
do that costume
perfectly
on Sunday.
casted those people. Yeah,
gonna
they.
make us do
I
it.
would do it if I wasn't going to be here, but I'm not. So
Oh yeah, you loser.
sad. I know.
Whitney's skipping church.
It felt.
She's backsliding.
It felt easier to say yes before we went to camp. And then now that I know all the stories, I'm like, oh my God, sad, I'm going to miss it. You missed it the first year, I think.
I did.
And then I was like, well, it'll be fine. But anyway, okay.
If Alan Kendrick would ever invite me to come preach,
Dork. Okay.
loser.
No, he's not. He does not mean that. Okay.
I mean it double.
Okay. An hour and 4 minutes now.
All right, guys.
Love y'all.
Love you. Let us know. Tug of More
Yes.
for 84. See you. Bye.